everybody. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Hope you had a pleasant weekend. It is the last day of June, and just in time, we've got June's History by Mail. It is here. This is unit number 2 of the, I believe it was called the Patents and Inventions unit. Last month we had the patent applications from slaves, and I cannot wait to see what we have this time. Well, we see a name that is very familiar to a lot of people. T.A. Edison. There we go. Electric lamp, number 223898. Does it say it like that? I actually don't know. When referring to patents, does it just give the number, or does it actually pronounce it as 223,000? I'm not sure. Patented January 27th, 1880. The electric lamp. There's the design. Witnesses, and as we learned last week, there was a whole patent application. To the Honorable Commission of Patents. Okay, yep, here's the petition. And some actually beautiful handwriting. Going to probably make the assumption that is not all of it, but we have a transcript. I love the design on that. I really like, I don't know what the term for that is, the really fancy capital letters. Well, let's go in and see what we got. So sit back and let's enjoy some history together, as we always do. Patent application for the incandescent light bulb, January 27th, 1880. Enclosed is Thomas Edison's patent, right here, for his electric lamp, filed in 1879 and granted in 1880. While electric lamps had previously existed, Edison improved their design and materials to create a safe, reliable, and affordable consumer option. And that's how it goes with most inventions. They come out, they're exceedingly overpriced. People of a certain age will remember VCRs when they first came out costing, upwards of $1,000. Edison's early life and first inventions. Thomas Alva Edison was born in Milan, Ohio in 1847 and grew up in Port Huron, Michigan. He only attended formal school for a few months and was mostly taught by his mother, a former school teacher. That was bad inflection, I apologize. Recurring untreated ear infections in childhood left Edison hard of hearing. Later in life, Edison saw his loss of hearing as an asset that allowed him to avoid distractions. It's an interesting way of looking at it. As a boy, Thomas sold candy and newspapers on trains between Port Huron and Detroit. He used his wages to buy equipment for electrical and chemical experiments. After saving a 3-year-old from being hit by a runaway train, the boy's grateful father trained Edison to be a telegraph operator. When Edison was 28, he enrolled in a 4-year chemistry degree. Thomas Edison was granted his first patent on June 1st, 1869 for an electric ballot recorder machine, but he found there was little demand. He then moved to New York and founded an electrical engineering company with fellow telegraph operator and inventor Franklin Pope. There, Edison developed the quadruplex telegraph, which allowed multiple messages to be sent simultaneously. He sold the rights to the invention to Western Union for $10,000, and with the proceeds, he built an industrial research lab in Menlo Park, New Jersey in 1876. And that is basically where he was for the remainder of his days. Edison's lab became the first institution specifically dedicated to creating technological breakthroughs. Edison's Menlo Park lab was staffed by dozens of employees conducting experiments including experiments on the telephone, phonograph, electric rail, and electric lighting. Within a decade, Edison's laboratory occupied 2 city blocks with various buildings, many of which contained various materials with which to conduct experiments. An 1887 newspaper reporter observed, 8,000 kinds of chemicals, every kind of screw made, every size of needle, every kind of cord or wire, hair of humans, horses, hogs, cows, rabbits, goats, minks, camels. That's a lot of animals. Silk in every texture. Cocoons, various kinds of hooves, shark's teeth, deer horns, tortoiseshell, cork, rosin, varnish, and oil, ostrich feathers, a peacock's tail, jet, amber, rubber, all ores. That is one heck of a shopping list, I do have to say. Edison invented the phonograph in 1877, and his first recording was of himself singing Mary Had a Little Lamb. The first phonograph was recorded on tinfoil, and it could only be played a few times. Edison instantly became a celebrity and traveled to Washington to display the phonograph before President Rutherford B. Hayes. The incandescent light bulb. In 1878, Edison turned his efforts to the electric lamp. Until then, homes were either lit by oil or gas lamps, or by candles, each of which were fire hazards that did not provide steady illumination. Edison hoped to create a long-lasting electric lamp that would be used indoors and compete with oil and gas-fueled light sources. At least 22 other inventors had created incandescent electric lamps by the 1870s, but each had flaws such as a short life, a melting filament, high cost, or requiring too much electric current. Edison and his team tried thousands of times, experimenting on different materials and using different theories until they discovered carbonized cotton for the first filament. A filament is a wire or thread that creates light in an electric bulb when made incandescent by an electric current. Edison's lab included a glass-blowing shed that produced thousands of bulbs for his experiments. When interviewed about his persistence, Edison explained that each unsuccessful attempt was bringing his team one step closer to success. And that is very true if you think about it. Every time you fail and pick back up what you were doing, you then realize what you don't have to do. So it actually is a time saver and ultimately will get you there. In October 1878, Edison filed his first patent for improvement in electric lights. He continued to experiment with various filaments, and his first successful test lasted 13.5 hours. After improving the design further, Edison filed the enclosed patent number 223898 in November 1879, which described using cotton and linen thread, wood splints, and papers coiled in various ways as filaments. Edison was granted the patent on January 27, 1880. While the patent was pending, Edison made his first public demonstration of the incandescent light bulb on New Year's Eve at his Menlo Park facility, during which he said, "We will make electricity so cheap that only the rich will burn candles." It was like that for a time. After filing the patent, Edison continued experimenting with over 6,000 different types of filaments, including grasses, hemp, and cardboard. Cardboard, interesting. Edison settled on bamboo as the best filament since, when carbonized, bamboo could last over 1,200 hours. Did not know that. Edison was also able to achieve a higher vacuum in his bulb than prior inventors by using a Sprengel pump, which uses drops of mercury to trap air. In 1878, Edison formed the Edison Electric Light Company in New York City with J.P. Morgan, several Vanderbilt family members, and other financial partners. Edison's patent gave him the exclusive right to profit from his invention. At the end of 1880, he founded the Edison Electric Illuminating Company. That's a long name. A utility company to compete with gas utility companies, and patented a system for distribution of electricity called direct current, or DC. Soon cities started running on electricity, including parts of Lower Manhattan and Roselle, New Jersey. In 1883, the U.S. Patent Office ruled Edison's patent was based on the work of William Sawyer and was therefore invalid. However, after 6 years of litigation, a judge ruled that Edison had improved on Sawyer's work and the patent was valid. And here we have the AC-DC competition that always was. Alternative current, AC systems used thin and cheap wires to step down the high voltage from generators were already starting to provide light for public spaces in the early 1880s when Edison patented his direct current system. Edison's system used lower voltage that was only suitable for large cities with dense population. Further, Edison's plants could not deliver electricity more than 1 mile from the generating plant. George Westinghouse, a name, very familiar in Pittsburgh lore, whose company produced AC power, was Edison's chief competitor. Edison attacked Westinghouse by stating, just as certain as death, Westinghouse will kill a customer within 6 months after he puts in a system of any size. He has got a new thing, and it will require a great deal of experimenting to get it working practically. In 1888, several deaths were caused by AC high-voltage lines. The resulting media frenzy turned public opinion in Edison's favor, and he capitalized on the moment. He worked with anti-AC activist Harold Brown to conduct public electrocution of animals using AC current to demonstrate its danger. The electric chair was also developed during this time, and the first electric chair was powered by a Westinghouse AC generator. In 1892, Edison was forced out of the Edison Illuminating Company, and J.P. Morgan led a merger with an AC generating company, Thomas Houston, to create a new company called General Electric, still one of the world's largest publicly traded companies. Edison continued inventing for decades. He invented an X-ray machine, a motion picture camera, and a rechargeable battery, among other inventions. Edison's incandescent light bulb and electric utilities catapulted the world into the electric age, transforming the globe in virtually every industry. Edison has been called America's greatest inventor, and his name is on 1,093 U.S. patents, in addition to patents he held in other countries, making him one of history's most prolific inventors. Edison was highly popular in his day, and his quotes have been famous for centuries, including "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." Pardon me. This is the second of 4 documents in our Patents and Inventions series. To learn more about Thomas Edison and the incandescent light bulb, there's the link right there. Well, let's take a quick look at this real quick, because it did not kind of touch on it. Inventors Thomas A. Edison for Samuel W. Terrell, attorney. Let's see. Grant him patent for the invention of an improvement in electric lamps and in the method of manufacturing the same set forth on the annex specification, case number 186. And the further, what is this? And further pray that you will recognize, it was Lemuel, I'm sorry, it wasn't Samuel, Lemuel W. Cyrell of the city of New York, New York, as his attorney with full power of substitution and revocation to prosecute this application, to make alterations and amendments therein and receive the patent, and to transact all business in the patent office connected therewith. Very, very interesting. And yes, I mean, there's no doubt about it, Edison was arguably, probably not a big argument, but arguably the most prolific and greatest of all American inventors. And he did an absolute ton, like you saw there, 1,093 patents just in the United States alone, and who knows how many more patents in foreign countries overseas. I love it. And you knew when it came to inventions and patents, you just knew that at some point Edison was going to pop up. You just knew it. And, he was popular in his day. Looking back on him now and a few things he did, may not have been the greatest human being of all time, but, but unfortunately, especially back then, progress came at a very, very steep cost. And, look at the fact that right above me, there's, a light. You still have to marvel at it today, that you can just turn a switch and all of a sudden there's light. I think it's fantastic. This was an absolute ton of fun. I love the history by mail. Cannot wait to see what the remaining 2 pieces, I should say, in the unit are going to be. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought down below. Hopefully you have a great rest of the week, and we will see you next time.